Hello there and welcome to We Talks, a series of conversations brought to you by the World Energy Council, where we explore in depth exactly what is going on in the energy transition. I'm Etna Trainer, and for this episode of We Talks, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome the Chief Technology Officer from the Italian energy company, Francesca Zarri. Francesca, thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, Etna. Thank you for inviting me.
And it's great to have you here, great to catch up with you. And just when we look at your career and we look at your career in the energy industry and your career with ENI, really more than 20 years it spans. A lot has happened, obviously, a lot has changed in those years. And really when we look at it, is it all about technology? Is this what is the real enabler when we look towards the energy transition?
Yes, indeed, it is so. I can say that in all these years, what I have been seeing is a development, a technology. Technology always have supported our industry. And nowadays, technology is the real enabler for accompanying towards the energy transition and the transformation. Technology in the broader sense, together with digital, with innovation, and also with organizational changes, which accompany this new way of doing things.
You know, when we look at that too, I mean, the core of technology, we look back at the history, I suppose, of this energy industry, and that change has also brought about huge organizational change, I think, in the last 5 years, maybe 5 years, but certainly in the last 5 years, the narrative has changed a lot. You look at your company, ENI, and look at maybe the organizational change that has happened within that. And even in terms of your own role, a woman at the head of the Chief Technology Officer. Give us a feel for what has changed, internally for ENI as an international energy company and how you're driving that change.
Okay, in 2020, a lot of things from organizational point of view have been changed at ENI. ENI, from a traditional energy company, has been split in two main business units: natural resources, energy evolution. And energy evolution follows the future, follows the evolution of energy. Then what has been created is a central unit, which is my unit, the unit that I let's say control and where I work, which is the unit where all the technologies, digital, engineering have been put. And this, to me, has been, apart from what I was saying before, that the technology in the broader sense is the enabler for the future. It's also a challenge being a female, because, it's a big challenge, but it is achievable. I think it is achievable because of the female features and the female attitudes. It is a role of links, a role where you link together business, where you link together functions and departments, and you must show a lot of flexibility with a very, sometimes also, may I say, you may use also some imagination to ease the process. So I think that it is an organizational change which follows the technological changes of my company, but it is always also very, let's say, very far-sighting for putting a woman in this point, in this position.
And I think also it's such a sign of the times in many ways that the energy sector has broadened. It's become more human. It's involved more people, because I think producers and consumers, the relationship has changed, and I think it's a much more holistic one and a very healthy one. So good luck to you in this job. I think there's lots for you to do. And I mean, I also know, how passionate you are about your work and about your work as an engineer before and what you're going to do now. But looking towards the future, what do you think are the key ambitions, and for you, when it looks to the next stage of the energy transition?
Okay, Etna. Allora, transition is becoming a reality. We are all speaking about that. International oil companies are rising to the challenge and are leading the way. They have the capabilities, and I believe strongly that they have the duty to do this. And for Eni, this is already a reality. We all know that a transition will not happen overnight. Hydrocarbons will still have a role to play in the energy mix, but we must work for decarbonize them along the path and the value chain. Eni believes very strongly in that. Eni has given itself goals for 2050, where scope 1, 2, and 3 will be decarbonized, and where over 90% of natural gas will be in our hydrocarbon portfolio. Our hydrocarbon portfolio will be made more than 90% of natural gas, and we will have 60 gigawatt installed of renewable energy. So what I want to say is that as a Eni, as an energy, an integrated energy company, we have this duty of building and growing sustainable energy projects, and we are doing that. We are deploying them, and we are doing them together with the communities and institutions where we work.
Adding on to what you just said there, it also has to, I suppose, reunite everybody in the company to get behind this. Is that absolutely essential too, that everybody in the company drives this new attitude, I suppose, in terms of making sure they're part of the solution for the energy transition?
Yeah, it's true. And what I can also bring to you some examples which comes from last year experience. My company has showed also to be very resilient and adaptable. That has been shown during the 2020. I can give you even some numbers. In 24 hours, 99% of Eni headquarters employees were smart working from home, and more than 70% of people working for Eni around the world was not having any interruption in their operational and working time. So really, during the pandemic effect, Eni showed this capacity of adapting and being resilient. Eni was also very quick in giving support to the country where it's present for COVID, for COVID affected communities, and we have given a lot of personal protecting equipment in most of the country where we are, and including Italy.
And Francesca, did you find that the technology actually helped you so much throughout the pandemic, and how are you able to actually deploy this?
Indeed, Etna, as Eni, we were able to make available our supercomputing resources to a very important European 18 countries project, the Escalate for COVID project. And with our supercomputing capabilities, we were able to simulate molecular interactions between pharmaceutical principles and the virus, and this gave the possibility to choose some molecular principle capable of fighting COVID, and which are now under clinical test.
And I think, again, such a great example of the energy sector being able to share their technology, for other uses. This is really very, very powerful. Just before we close, when we look at, what energy has contributed to the world, I'd really love to hear from you where you're positioned in terms of where you think the energy sector is, for the future, and perhaps, what's your advice, what's your call to action to companies out there in terms of what everybody can do to make this energy transition, very smooth and indeed very successful for everybody.
Thank you, Etna. This is I like to close the interview with this answer. It is very important because gives my view, but also the view of my company about this point. I believe that our role has always been to provide energy for the development of the society. Now our duty has been enriched by new and more challenging goals. The goals of providing a decarbonized energy and to do it in the fastest, cleanest, safest, most economic and efficient way. We have already started along this path. We have set intermediate milestones where we measure our strength and our commitment in order to keep the momentum. We believe that to undertake the energy transitions is everybody's duty. People can contribute starting from their own skills and competences. In this respect, my organization and my people have fully understood and accepted the challenge, which is a challenge for the future of our planet.
And indeed, such inspiring words from you there. Thank you. I know passionately it's, the heart of everything you do. You do it with passion, and it's great to see that this has been embraced also by the company. I think, we wish you luck in your leadership role in terms of running the technology operations. And again, I think doing it with this holistic attitude. It's great to hear it. So Francesca Zarri, thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you, Etna, for the opportunity.
And indeed to all of you, thank you for watching. This has been We Talks, brought to you by the World Energy Council. Keep an eye on all of the great information that's on our website, all of those updates, and we'll keep you in tune with some great experts in the industry as we navigate the energy transition. Thank you so much.